You despise your job. You always have. The moment you stepped foot into that building, you knew you hated. The rows of cubicles, the backgrounds of keyboard tapping and photocopying, the endless amount of caffeine needed to keep yourself awake is just too much. What were you thinking? You could have become a scientist, a doctor, but no! Here you are, sitting at a desk all day, getting home, watching TV, going to bed, waking up to do the same thing all over again. Today was a particularly daunting day. Your coworker and cubicle neighbor was taking a sick day to visit his aunt in the hospital. Heard she got in a nasty car accident and he needed to see her as soon as possible. Of course, you offered to do his work for the day he was absent, which was today. He had done you a couple of favors in the past, and you weren't planning on letting him down on such a stressful manner. And as happy as it made you feel to have done your good deed of the day, staying hours after your usual shift was over didn't leave you with the accomplished feeling you'd usually get after helping someone in need. Now you're finally home, and you're hungry. I feel terrible and starving. Let me guess. Okay, let me guess. I'm gonna check the fridge and there's nothing inside, right? We're gonna go with that trope, right? Are we gonna go with that? At this point, anything's fine to eat. I don't have the energy to make a nice meal right now. And you look through your pantry, realizing that you, in fact, have no food. You contemplate ordering some food, but it would probably be cheaper heading to the store yourself. You feel a headache coming along. Just another metaphorical tomato thrown at your face, you suppose? You grab your keys and your wallet before heading out of your apartment. Luckily, the nearest store is only a 5-minute walk away. Maybe the air will do you some good. You don't usually come to the store, as it is much smaller than your usual supermarket. It's much closer though, and the air's nice. Walking did you some good. You decide to go and do your usual shopping rather than buying just a quick meal. You'll be there anyway. You walk into the store, only now realizing how late it is. There's one person working the cash register and only about 4 other customers. One is already making their way towards the exit. And the music's quite groovy. There's about 20 minutes until closing time. I should be done by then anyway. You walk into the first aisle, scanning the shelves of their different products, varying from pasta to cans of food. You aren't quite sure what you'll be getting, but this is a good aisle to start in. From the corner of your eye, you see a man wearing the uniform that the other employee at the cash register was wearing, a pink apron with white shirt, as well as a written name tag. His name is Jeremy! The poor guy looks half asleep and familiar. You can't put your finger on it, but you've seen this man before. Somewhere. You continue staring at the man, a nagging feeling in your gut telling you that you know who this is. And that's when it hits you. Lion! Is that you? Jeremy? Jeremy quickly makes his way towards you. I can't believe it! I haven't seen you sometime since high school. You can't believe it either. Your childhood best friend who moved away when you both were 16 suddenly appeared in your local grocery store. How have you been, Lion? Yeah, I've been good as I can be. What about you? Well, stocking shelves is pretty relaxing and the store's never too busy, so I'd say I've been doing pretty good myself. This feels surreal. Your life has been so difficult since you last even spoke with him that you haven't even recognized him for a moment. It made you almost feel a little guilty, but who could blame you? People change over the years. His hair used to be shorter, but still as unkempt as it is now. It was funny to see that as a constant for him, despite how many years it's been. Suddenly, Jeremy holds out his arms, inviting you to a hug, just like old times. But Jeremy, you smell like meat! Why do you smell like meat? Well, we are in a grocery store, so I don't mind, but you smell like fresh produce. Accept his hug excitedly, give him a fist bump, offer a handshake. I'll accept his hug. You ecstatically jump into his arms, feeling a rush of nostalgia. You didn't realize how much you missed your best friend until just now. Your extensive enthusiasm caught him off guard, laughter escaping from him. We haven't hugged in years. I almost forgot what it's like. Jeremy lets you go. Where have you been and when did you get back? I moved to town next door with my mom to go live with her boyfriend at the time. Sorry, I completely lost your number and I was so busy after I moved. Plus, we slowly stopped talking right before I was expelled. Jeremy starts fiddling with his apron. I guess what I'm getting at is that I was too shy to reach out to you again after I moved. I moved back about 2 weeks ago. There was an apartment nearby looking for a roommate, so... What made you move back? Jeremy goes quiet for a moment. Just family drama, that's all. You recognize this phrase. It is one that he often used back when you were kids. There was always something going on, but he never elaborated on it more than that. He never let you come over either. Whenever you asked him to hang out, he'd either choose the park or your own house. Now that I think of it, you'd never seen the inside of Jeremy's childhood home, nor did you ever see his mom. You knew his father wasn't always around, so it always had to do with his mom. You noticed Jeremy's obvious discomfort in the situation. Maybe it'll be better to switch subjects. So, what high school did you transfer to after you got expelled? I actually dropped out after I moved. It was more convenient, you know? Now, this took you by surprise. You always knew Jeremy as a hardworking, goal-driven individual. What kind of, corpo-like talk is this? He was always the first person you paired up with for high school projects because you knew you could always count on him. Even as little kids, he was always determined to win any games and any competitions you both would make. You would win most of the time, as he's never been the athletic kind, but even so, he was always determined to be number one. Plus, he never took loss to heart, which was a quality most 8-year-olds don't have at the time. Either way, it was almost unbelievable that he had given up on graduating. You could almost recall word for word the plans he had after high school. He couldn't wait to get on with life and do great things. But now that you recall it, Jeremy started acting a little less determined the closer and closer he got to the point of him being expelled. You know, my mom and I were always a little tight of money. I kinda took it upon myself to help her. My boyfriend wasn't the richest guy around either, so I just did what I had to do. Jeremy let out a laugh. He wasn't the most pleasant guy either, so it was better being at work than at home with him. He seems to be fine about his past and current situation, but you can't help but feel a little bad for him. Jeremy stops laughing when he reads your face. Hey, don't even worry about me, alright? You seem to be having really bad luck at conversational topics today. The conversation has gone quiet. It feels like you're cued to hit to the next aisle. TLB, head over to the next aisle now. I know you've got your job to do, but it was nice talking to you, though. Jeremy nodded, straightening his apron. Yeah, of course. Enjoy your shopping. Let me know if you need anything. But that was that. You moved on to the next aisle, leaving Jeremy behind. You begin to look at the lines and lines of food, but your mind is somewhere else. Who would blame you? You just bump into someone you never thought you'd see again. You find yourself thinking back to the time when you both had met. It was a park nearby, a minute walk to your house, or 30 seconds for you since you were always too eager to get there. It was a nice park, adorned with squeaky swings and colorful slides. The wood chips would always get stuck in your shoes, and the sand from the sandbox would always be overflowing from kids throwing handfuls of it overboard. The older kids would always be on the monkey bars, so you'd have to settle for the slides or the swings most of the time. That's when you met Jeremy for the first time. It was the week before first grade, and much after pleading, your parents brought you to the park. You're having so much fun that you decided that paying attention to your surroundings wasn't a priority anymore. You actually ended up crashing into Jeremy, sending you both tumbling to the floor. It completely knocked the wind out of you both. You, for one, thought the interaction was hilarious. So hilarious that you were too distracted laughing to notice you made the poor kid cry. Not because you hurt him, more because he was really spooked. Only once your fit of laughter was finished did you notice the crying child next to you. Of course he apologized, but he wasn't much of a talker. Well, never was anyway. Not unless he got to know you good enough. Also, you're not the only ones who's thinking of the crying child. The crying child? I have FNAF on the brain. At first, they ran away from the park out of what you could only imagine was embarrassment. But when the school started, then you both found each other in the same class. He stuck to you like a magnet. Nobody tried to speak to him, and nobody tried to speak to you, so things just worked out perfectly. Of course, things changed once high school started. You feel like you're being watched. You look over your shoulder to see a very suspicious-looking grocery store worker. Once he notices your gaze, he, in a not very casual manner, walks away. You continue to look at the shelves, deciding to ignore his random appearance. He could have just been doing his job because he works here. No need to overthink it. You pick up a can, contemplating putting it in your basket. You still don't know what you want to eat, despite being in the store for a handful of minutes, surrounded by food. You feel as though you're being watched again. Jeremy! Jeremy, for the love of God, just say something! You look over his shoulder a second time to find the same suspicious-looking grocery worker stare at you again, rushing to the next aisle once he is spotted for the second time. He looked as if he had something to say, but left before he could manage to get a single word out. Now you feel a little on edge. You put the can you were holding back on the shelf, picking up another one beside it. This time, Jeremy walks over to the owl, still leaving a good distance between the two of you. He stands still like a statue, not daring to move an inch or make a single sound. It doesn't seem like he's gonna speak anytime soon. You want some company? He's just doing his job. Can I help you? Do you want some company, Jeremy? He seems surprised by your question. Me? Yeah. Jeremy takes this as the okay to come to talking distance with you instead of standing awkwardly at the other end of the aisle. Honestly, I think this is pretty normal behavior. Like, I know that the game is trying to make him seem like a freaking creep, but this really seems like something someone with like social anxiety would do. Like, I'm just saying. All right. There's just not that many people in the store. It gets a bit boring, you know. Is it now? You said before that you found it relaxing. Well, it's relaxing, but it's lonely. People don't usually ask for help. They just do their own thing, and I do mine, which is just stocking shelves pretty much. And I don't think my coworkers like me that much, so I really rarely talk to the people around here. Jeremy looks a little sad as he mentions that passing comment, but it isn't anything new. People always disliked him for reasons you just couldn't figure out. Growing up, he was just like any other kid to you, but no matter what he did, he was always being picked on. You just chalked it up to him being quiet and awkward. He always had a hard time holding a conversation with someone unless it was you. Remember hearing one of them calling me creepy the other day. Creepy? That was something new. You don't even remember Jeremy acting creepy ever. He was always a very respectful individual, and he never meant to be bothersome to anyone. If anything, whoever said a comment was being extremely harsh. That's odd. Yeah, I don't ever remember thinking you were creepy. Just too shy for your own good. Really? Because I've been overthinking everything I do since then. It gets really tiring. Either way, I'm glad to have someone to talk to right now. Of course he was. Never asked for much ever. He was always oddly satisfied with whatever was given to him. He never once asked for more. And completely off topic, it dawned on you that you don't have any more frozen meals in your freezer back in the apartment. Although they aren't the fanciest things out there. You gotta admit they're pretty convenient and not half bad since you know the good ones from the bad. Yeah, off topic, but do you have any good frozen food recommendations? I'm tired of buying the same ones. Frozen meals? Sure, I can name a few pretty good ones in my opinions at least. Jeremy goes on to list a few off the top of his head, counting each one on his fingers, then he laughs. It's all I eat, honestly, so I've got a lot of them memorized. It's all you eat? Sounds a little tiring, no? Jeremy shrugs at your question. It's better than anything I can cook anyway. Well, what about the time you brought those homemade cookies to school? Those are better than any restaurant cookies I've ever had. Your statement seems to amuse Jeremy, a smile coming back to his face. Baking and cooking are two different odds, Lion. You turn back to Jeremy for a moment to ask him for directions to a certain aisle when your eyes lock onto something you don't remember him having. Your gaze was on a scar going across his neck. It looked well healed, meaning it wasn't very recent. I remember rumors circulating from high school about the fight that happened, the one that got Jeremy expelled along with the other boys who participated in it. Everyone already knew about how one of the kids had brought a knife to the fight, but word had it that the guy who owned the knife actually used it to attack Jeremy sometime after the fight started. You always told yourself it wasn't true because you don't know what would have done it, what you would have done if it was. You were never able to see yourself if the rumors were correct because you never saw him again. But now the proof was undoubtedly in front of you. It looked like someone had dragged a knife along his throat. Not deep enough to actually cause any life-threatening danger, but enough to leave marks for years to come. Jeremy notices where your eyes land. Anyone ever told you it's rude to stare? Your eyes immediately dart back up to his, but then he laughs. I'm pulling your leg. It's not like I'm hiding it from anyone. The scar, I mean. I'd hide it. Can I ask what exactly happened to fight? How about you tell me what you know first so I can fill in the blanks? You tell Jeremy what you know. The fact that the fight happened somewhere behind the school. It was cornered and someone brought a knife. No one knows exactly why the fight began. All that people knew was that it ended with Jeremy being nicked in the throat. Is that all you know? No one knows why it started. Just speculations. Jeremy chuckles again. I guess it doesn't matter why it started. It was an embarrassing reason to start a fight and definitely didn't merit a knife to my throat. Doesn't seem he'll be revealing anything else about the fight's reason for starting. You notice his hand slip into his pocket and he fiddles with something inside as he speaks. Yeah, I can't lie to you and say I wasn't scared absolutely poopless though. Plus, it was after school and practically everyone was gone. No one could hear me yelling for help. That sounds absolutely horrifying. I did learn I could throw a mean punch a day though. Knocked one of the guys to the ground. One of them? It was an entire group against him. An unfair fight, especially when said group brings a knife to it. Are you alright? They had it coming then. You alright? Me? Sure, I'm alright. Thanks for asking. I, didn't tell you this to vent or anything. Just wanted to let you know the full story, you know? But really, thanks for asking. It means a lot. With that, you turn your back to the shelf once more, continuing to shop as you feel the conversation is nearing its end. You scan the aisle for a moment, and Jeremy does the same. So would it be rude to ask, what you do for work? Just an office job, exactly what you're picturing in your head. Do you like your job then? Is it a bit enjoyable at the very least? It pays the bills. That's the important bit, huh? Suddenly your elbow knocks over a box and it falls to the floor. How? This is a grocery store! Unless there was like a box right next to you. That's physically impossible. How? Let me get that for you. He bends down and grabs the box when something else clatters to the floor out of Jeremy's pocket. A switchblade. A switchblade lies in front of you. Something that you are 110% sure he's not allowed to have on him. Well, depending on how long it is, I guess. But then again, like, the laws differ from state to state. Jeremy immediately picks it up and shoves it back into his pocket. In fact, he immediately went to hide it. Makes him seem even more guilty. That was, I'm allowed to have it. I swear. I'm not allowed to have it. So let's keep this between you and I, alright? I mean, you work at a grocery store. I would expect you to have a knife. How else are you supposed to, like, cut up on, like, boxes and stuff? What do you need it for? I need to tell someone about this. That's danger. Why do you need it? Yeah, I guess I'm a bit paranoid. This job was hard enough to get. If anyone finds out I'm carrying this, I'll be fired. I've got enough warnings and this will be the tipping point. And it makes me feel better having it on me just in case. You feel unsafe, you're being childish and immature, whatever, I don't care. You feel unsafe? I guess I do feel a bit uneasy sometimes. It's not like it's a gun. Just let this go. I kinda agree there. Just please tell me you let this go. You consider it for a moment. I won't say anything. Jeremy lets out a breath of relief, taking his hand out of his pocket and clasping it with his other. God, thank you, Lion. I mean it. I really, really do. I'm sorry if I freaked you out a bit there. Suddenly, a woman speeds down into the aisle, straight towards Jeremy. You! Help me find something before this damn store closes! Ma'am? What? What is wrong with you, ma'am? You ain't even rendered right! Ma'am! What happened to you? Sure thing, ma'am. Before either of you could speak, the woman storms off and Jeremy follows reluctantly. As you watch him leave, you realize the store really is about to close. You pay for your things at a cash register and leave. Jeremy completely out of your mind. Also, like, I saw on the Itch.io page that Jeremy is short. The fact that that lady is, like, so much shorter, at least a head shorter, like, kind of makes me think, like, she's probably a halfling or something. What in the world? You pay for your things at a cash register and leave. Jeremy completely out of your mind. You hear someone running close behind you. When you turn around, whoever was there is gone. You turn back around and keep walking back to your apartment. You get to your door. You unpack everything you bought, putting things in their respective spots. Your arms are sore from walking with all the bags you bought. Quickly, you make yourself a meal and eat it hungrily. You put away your dishes before you get ready for bed. Finally, you entirely collapse onto your bed. Phone in hand, you stare up into the ceiling, allowing yourself to finally unwind after a stressful day. Suddenly, your phone chimes up. Upon further inspection, the notification is actually a new follower, something that struck you as odd. Your account consisted of pictures of you with your family and friends, and the new follower had a name you didn't recognize as someone you knew. You clicked on profile, but the name Simon is the only thing displayed on it. The account was made today. You don't seem to be following anyone besides you. Nor were they followed by anyone. The profile picture was still a default image, and you really couldn't tell who it was. You decide not to worry about it and put your phone down. Suddenly, your phone chimes up again. I will check it out. Pick up your phone again to see more notifications from this Simon account you saw before. You see the account eagerly interactive with yours, liking all your recent posts as well as adding positive comments underneath them. Suddenly, you get a direct message from Simon. Simon, seeming eager to speak with you, expresses excitement about a band you had a shirt in one of the photos you saw on your page. You two talk for a few minutes. It's nice. And finally, you put your phone down and get some rest. Next few weeks go by as usual. Same office job, same schedule, subway ride home. The only difference now is that you seem to have made a new friend with Simon. You two would talk frequently, and you began to find yourself waiting his replies eagerly at times. Embarrassing? Maybe. But it did make your day less dull. Then one day you got home and noticed your windows wide open. At first you thought nothing of it until you remembered your apartment was on the first floor, meaning anyone could have gotten in if they wanted to. You look around briefly, but everything looks as if it should be. Nothing of value is missing either. But then you notice a paper sitting on the kitchen counter that you are sure you didn't leave there. Yeah, I'll read it. Hello, I thought I'd stop in and say hi, but you weren't here. You hadn't told Simon about any of your personal information. You immediately informed the authorities that an investigation began, but there are no current leads. You were left in suspense for the foreseeable future as to see how this could have happened. After an investigation began, things settled down. Simon's account was practically wiped out of existence to yours and the authorities' dismay. For a while, it was okay. But then, things in your apartment began to go missing. Things will be misplaced. Sometimes you tourists seem to do themselves, so maybe you were just forgetting you did them. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, I am probably the worst, protagonist you could have, in any horror scenario. I would just completely forget that anything has even happened. Sometimes you hear footsteps at night. Maybe you're hearing things. Those reassurances don't change the fact that you're paranoid. Then there's a new note, and another, and another, and another. You frantically look around for any signs of Simon in your apartment, but he's nowhere to be found. The note continues. Every week, a new note is left mysteriously in your home, each more threatening than the other. You make sure to lock all your windows, but somehow Simon continues to enter. You request a lock change, which is granted. A month passes by without any other issues, and you slowly begin to live your life as you once did, unafraid to leave your home. Then somehow, against all odds, a new note appears on your fridge. Miss me. I guess? Okay, so I'm gonna go with one of the alternate endings. So the first option, I'm just gonna offer to shake his hand instead. He holds out his arms for a few seconds longer before you raise your own for a handshake. He stares at your hand, looking confused before shaking it. Long time no see, huh? It has been a long time. So long that you're not sure what to say anymore, let alone hug him. The handshake felt much more appropriate. Jeremy clears his throat before smiling again, hoping to clear the awkward atmosphere. Well, no need to act like a stranger. We're friends, aren't we? Friends? Maybe. It has been so long since we've last seen Jeremy that it's almost hard to tell. Of course you still feel some fondness for him since you two were best friends. That was a long time ago. It feels weird trying to force that closeness you both used to have onto each other now. You find yourself smiling out of politeness to his comments, not having much to say. There's a long silence. So what brings you here so late? Shopping? Sure, but so late at night? You must have nothing at home, huh? Yeah, that's the situation. Another long silence. This time, Jeremy doesn't seem to be able to muster up the same customer service voice he had the last awkward silence. So I moved back here 2 weeks ago. There was an apartment looking for a roommate nearby, and I took the opportunity. You know, this conversation really isn't going anywhere, and you need to shop anyway. The conversation has gone quiet and feels like a cue to hit your next aisle. Let's skip. I am gonna say, can I help you? Huh? No, can I help you? Jeremy chuckles awkwardly, creeping you out a bit. Was he always this off-putting? Maybe that was a little harsh. Nah, I'm doing fine on my own. Thanks for asking. Alright, let me know if you do need anything. Anything at all. He'll be nearby. He meant that literally, as in he didn't leave the aisle. At least he was leaving a reasonable distance between the two of you instead of breathing down your neck. You turn back to Jeremy for a moment to ask him for directions to a certain aisle when your eyes lock onto something you don't remember him having. I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna say I'd hide it. Jeremy looks taken aback for a moment before chuckling quietly. It isn't something I'm particularly ashamed of, so I don't see a need to, you know? You do know why I got in the fight, right? I'm surprised you of all people would tell me something like that. You'll recall the rumors of what happened that day in high school when the fight happened. If anything, it sounded like he was attacked. He tried his best to fight back, which led to the scar. You were attacked. What does that have to do with me? Never mind that. I guess I assumed you knew. Word traveled fast in that school. A long silence followed his words. You genuinely cannot remember a single thing about the fight besides the basics. He was attacked, someone brought a knife, he got a blade to the neck. Well, this is embarrassing. I guess I could tell you if you're curious. But before he could answer, he interrupts you with a nervous chuckle. Or not, it isn't that big of a deal. High school drama's long gone, or I guess I could cover it up. Scar, I mean. Another daunting silence commences, and you take it as your cue to turn your attention back to shopping. You scan the aisle for a moment, and Jeremy does the same. So, would it be rude to ask what you do for work? I'm skipping. Let's see. Okay, if you tell him that you need to tell someone about this leads to an alternate ending, but we're not gonna go there just yet. Why do you need it for? I guess I'm a bit paranoid. This job was hard enough to get. If anyone finds out I'm carrying this, I'll be fired. I've got enough warnings, and this will be a tipping point. Skip. You're being childish and immature. You shouldn't carry a switchblade of all things with you around for no good reason. Even if you might disagree with me, please just don't tell anyone about this. You consider it for a moment. Fine, I won't say anything. Thank you, Lion. Suddenly a woman speeds down the aisle, straight towards Jeremy. You help me find something before this damn store closes! Bye! You read the spam messages before blocking the contact. You put your phone down. Oh, so this is different. So we get back and this Simon, which is totally not Jeremy, they're still trying to talk to us, and we just say no. I put my phone down. Ending 2, spam message. Better get some rest for work tomorrow. So regardless of your choices and like what your affection points with Jeremy is, like if you say you need to tell someone about this, that's a danger. Like this locks you out of all the other endings. So no, you can't. I need this job. I need the knife. I will never use it on anyone. I swear, you know me. I wouldn't even dream of it. Why do you need it? Why did you hide it so quickly? I'll never use it on anyone. Just do me a favor and let this go. You're being childish. You're not allowed to carry something like that. I can't let this go. I'll never use it on anyone. Just leave it alone. Jeremy looks up to the corner of his eyes for a moment, looking for anyone who might be able to enter the aisle. I will take it from his pocket. As you take a step closer and reach out towards him, his eyes snap back towards you. Suddenly, he throws his fist seemingly out of instinct, uppercutting a chin. Ow! Oh! God, that hurt! You feel dizzy and soon your mind fades into nothingness. But dude, that's a bad idea! Suddenly, you open your eyes, unable to see anything in pitch black darkness. Confused and alerted, you try to make sense of your surroundings. You're lying down somewhere. The walls are tight around you, and the ceiling is practically touching your nose. You desperately pound your fist at the ceiling. Nothing. You hear a car engine start. Ending 1. He didn't mean it, he swears. He would never hurt anyone. God damn it. Alright, so we're gonna go with the last ending, which is ending 3, I believe. So we're gonna give him a fist bump instead. This causes Jeremy to laugh as he enthusiastically fist bumps you back. A wave of nostalgia washes over you as you recall doing this countless times as a kid. I'm sad I can't remember the secret handshake we made. Don't remember it at all. You think about it for a moment before admitting defeat. Nah, I completely forgot. That must have been years ago. No wonder. Alright, but you gotta remember how we always used to skip gym and hide out in the old janitor closet, right? Her eyes widened at the memory. How could you have forgotten? You laughed, recalling the many times you were scolded together by the teachers when you got caught hiding in there. Remember the time Mr. Barnack walked by and saw us in there for the 5th time and just gave up? Well, getting detention for hiding in a closet was way better than showing up for PE, wasn't it? Now that I think of it, Jeremy always tried to convince you to skip that specific class with him. You knew it was because he wasn't very athletic to begin with, but you sort of noticed that the kids in the class were extra rough with him. Specifically, those 4 boys who were always together. You knew them too well. They were part of the fight that Jeremy got expelled at, after all. So this ending brings you more lore? Does it give more lore, like more story to this? Those guys in our class never let you catch a break, huh? You notice him fiddling with something in his pocket. Never. Sometimes I feel like that life's duty was to absolutely ruin my day. The atmosphere turns a little uncomfortable, neither of you knowing what to say. Jeremy suddenly ends the silence by chuckling, his grin coming back to his face like usual, and pulling his hand out of his pocket, seeming to have let go of whatever he was holding. Well, what were we gonna do about it anyway? It's long past me. Plus, I never had the misfortune of meeting those people after I moved. Seems like a perfect time to change the subject. Talk about moving. When'd you get back? I definitely wasn't expecting to bump into you today. Or well, ever actually. Jeremy looks a little awkward, fiddling with his apron as he speaks. Well, family drama the usual. This was the phrase he often used whenever he talked about his family. He knew his father wasn't around, so whenever he said that, he was always referring to his mother. Your mom give you a hard time again? You say this lightly because you actually never knew what his mother was like, or whatever the family drama entailed. You never had the chance to meet her thanks to Jeremy never inviting you over to his house under any circumstances. Jeremy seems to find your comment amusing, successfully bringing a smile back to his face. Something like that. The conversation has gone quiet. It feels like a cue to head to the next aisle. Skip. And over here, he's just doing his job. You feel like an attention seeker, thinking that he would actually be trying to watch you. Why would he be doing that? He works here. A minute passes in complete silence. You're at a loss as to what to do. He hasn't moved an inch since he stepped into the aisle, and neither have you. You reluctantly look back at him, hoping that he does, well, anything. Any sign of coming out of him would be greatly appreciated. Jeremy notices you look at him oddly, immediately scrambles to the shelf in front of him, randomly picking up cans and placing them in different places. You feel the need to say something, but you don't know what. You continue to watch as Jeremy tries to look busy. Jeremy suddenly stops, putting a can he had in his hand back into the shelf, turning to you and acting surprised. Hey, didn't see you there. I'm so busy reorganizing the shelf that I completely tuned you out. What are you doing there? Just, shopping? Uh-huh. You decide to leave him be, turning away from him, starting to watch the next aisle. But Jeremy suddenly interrupts you mid-stride, clearing his throat. You turn to look at him as he holds up a can of corn into the air, expecting it and talking to himself. Oh man, I just love this corn. I can vouch for it. It's my go-to corn company. Oh my god, I freaking love this route so far because like we get to see Jeremy like romancing the corn. Romance the corn, Jeremy. Oh god. Corn. You could make something with a can of corn, right? It's good apparently, says the grocery worker in front of you. You walk back towards him, picking up the same type of can. You would say it's good. Might as well try some, right? We can romance the corn together, Jeremy. Would you like to romance the corn? Yeah. Let me know if you like it. You turn back to Jeremy for a moment to ask him for directions to a certain aisle when your eyes lock onto something you don't remember him having. Yeah, I'm skipping. Can I ask what happened in the fight? We've seen all this before. We're skipping ahead. And I believe they had it coming then. Yeah, absolutely. With that, you turn back to the shelf once more, continuing to shop as you feel the conversation is nearing its end. You scan the aisle for a moment, and Jeremy does the same. So would it be rude to ask what you do for work? Corn! Okay, I'm kidding. We're skipping ahead. Well, what do you need it for? We've already seen all this. Let's skip ahead. Whatever, I don't care. So, what does that mean you don't care enough to tell anyone? That's exactly what I mean. Alright, thank you. Suddenly a woman speeds down into the aisle, straight towards Jeremy. Yo, help me find something before this damn store closes! Ma'am, for the love of God, we were having a moment with our corn! But we're skipping ahead. You read a notification and learn they've got a new follower. Upon further inspection, you see that new follower is an account created today with the name of Simon. The account doesn't have any followers and follows one person, you. You find that a bit weird considering you only uploaded occasional pictures of your friends and family. But you shrug it off and turn off your phone. Days go by and you've completely forgotten about it. Ghost fault? Come on! Man! Anyway, that was Encounter. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to play this for yourself, link to the game will be in the description below. I kind of wish we had more interactions with Jeremy in the endings. Aside from ending, I believe ending 1, which was the one where we get kidnapped, like, we don't actually get to interact with Jeremy much. It's literally like either A, like we get a stalker on our butts, which we call the cops on, and we get mysterious notes, or B, like we just completely forget that the stalker was even there. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.